The story of Abraham Lincoln. Born in a small log cabin, raised in poverty, yet he became one of the greatest leaders the world has ever known. This is not just the story of a man. This is the story of courage, honesty, and a dream that changed a nation. From splitting wood in the wild fields of Kentucky to freeing millions of slaves with just a few words. Join us as we journey through the simple but powerful life of Abraham Lincoln. A man who proved that even the humblest beginnings can lead to the highest honors. Get ready for an inspiring story, in easy English, that you'll never forget. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a small log cabin in Kentucky, USA. His family was very poor. His father, Thomas Lincoln, worked as a farmer and carpenter. His mother, Nancy Hanks Lincoln, took care of the home and the children. Abraham had an older sister named Sarah and a younger brother who died when he was a baby. Life was very hard for young Abraham. His family moved often, and they had to work on the farm to survive. Abraham had to chop wood, carry water, and help with the crops. He did not go to school regularly because schools were far away and his family needed him to work. But Abraham loved learning. He taught himself by reading books that he borrowed. His favorite book was the Bible. He also read books like Robinson Crusoe, Aesop's Fables, and Pilgrim's Progress. When Abraham was just 9 years old, his mother died. He was very sad. A year later, his father married a woman named Sarah Bush Johnston. She was kind to Abraham and encouraged him to read and learn. She became like a second mother to him. As Abraham grew older, he became strong and tall. He was over 6 feet tall and very good at using an axe. People in his town said he could split wood faster than anyone else. He worked many jobs to help his family. He worked as a farmhand, a rail splitter, a store clerk, and even a boatman on the Mississippi River. In 1830, the Lincoln family moved to Illinois. Abraham wanted to start a life of his own. He moved to a town called New Salem. There, he worked in a small store. People liked him because he was honest and funny. They called him Honest Abe. He also loved to tell stories and make people laugh. Abraham also joined the local militia during the Black Hawk War. He was elected captain by his group. He did not fight in any battles, but he showed he was a good leader. After the war, he returned to New Salem and tried many things. He ran a store, worked as a postmaster, and studied law in his free time. Abraham Lincoln was interested in politics. He wanted to help people and improve the country. In 1834, he was elected to the Illinois state legislature as a member of the Whig Party. He was 25 years old. He worked hard and became known for his good speeches and honest work. During this time, he started studying law more seriously. He did not go to law school. Instead, he read many law books on his own. In 1836, he became a lawyer. He moved to Springfield, Illinois, and started working as a lawyer. He was very good at it. He helped many people and earned respect. Abraham also met Mary Todd in Springfield. She was smart and came from a wealthy family. They got married in 1842. They had 4 sons, Robert, Edward, William, Willie, and Thomas, Tad. Sadly, only Robert lived to be an adult. The other 3 sons died young, and this brought Abraham and Mary much sorrow. In 1846, Abraham Lincoln was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. He served 1 term. During that time, he spoke out against the Mexican-American War. He also spoke against slavery, which was legal in many southern states. He believed slavery was wrong and should not spread to new states. After his time in Congress, he returned to Springfield and worked as a lawyer. For several years, he stayed away from politics. But in 1854, something happened that brought him back. Congress passed the Kansas-Nebraska Act. This law allowed new states to decide for themselves if they wanted slavery. Abraham was against this. He gave many speeches about why slavery should not grow. He said all people should be free. In one speech, he said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." He meant that the country could not survive half slave and half free. People began to notice him again. In 1858, he ran for U.S. Senate against Stephen A. Douglas. They held famous debates all over Illinois. Lincoln lost the election, but he became famous across the country. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was chosen as the Republican candidate for president. He ran against 3 other men. The country was divided over the issue of slavery. When the votes were counted, Abraham Lincoln won. He became the 16th President of the United States. Many people in the South were angry. They did not want a president who was against slavery. After Lincoln was elected, several southern states left the United States. They formed a new group called the Confederate States of America. This was the beginning of a very sad time in American history, the Civil War. The Civil War started in April 1861 when Confederate soldiers attacked Fort Sumter. Abraham Lincoln was now president during a terrible war. He worked day and night to keep the country together. He had to make many hard decisions. Sometimes people disagreed with him, but he always tried to do what was right. One of his most important acts was the Emancipation Proclamation. On January 1, 1863, he announced that all slaves in the Confederate States were free. This did not end slavery everywhere right away, but it changed the goal of the war. Now, the North was fighting not just to save the Union, but also to free the slaves. Many African Americans joined the Union Army after the proclamation. They fought bravely for freedom and justice. Lincoln visited soldiers, spoke to the people, and gave hope to a divided nation. He also gave one of the most famous speeches in American history, the Gettysburg Address. In just a few short words, he spoke about equality, freedom, and the importance of democracy. After 4 long years, the Civil War finally ended in April 1865. The Union had won. General Robert E. Lee, the leader of the Confederate Army, surrendered to General Ulysses South Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. The war was over, and the country was saved. Abraham Lincoln was happy but tired. He knew the work was not finished. The country needed to rebuild. He wanted to bring the North and South together again. He said, "With malice toward none, with charity for all, meaning there should be no hate, only kindness and peace." He had just started his second term as president. He had many plans to help the South recover and to help freed slaves begin new lives. But he would not live to see these plans come true. On April 14, 1865, just 5 days after the Civil War ended, Abraham Lincoln went to a theater in Washington, D.C., with his wife. The play was called Our American Cousin. During the play, a man named John Wilkes Booth, who supported the South, came into the theater and shot Lincoln. Lincoln was carried to a house nearby. Doctors tried to help him, but the wound was too serious. He died the next morning, on April 15, 1865. The whole country was shocked and heartbroken. People lined the streets as his body was taken by train to his home in Springfield. They cried and prayed. Flags flew at half-mast. Schools and shops closed. The nation was in deep sorrow. Abraham Lincoln is remembered as one of the greatest leaders in American history. He was a man of honesty, courage, and kindness. He came from a poor family, worked hard, and became president. He stood for what was right, even when it was difficult. He helped free the slaves and kept the country united. Many schools, streets, and buildings are named after him. His face is on the U.S. penny and the $5 bill. A great monument was built in his honor in Washington, D.C., the Lincoln Memorial. Millions of people visit it every year. His words still inspire people today. When he said, "Government of the people, by the people, for the people," he reminded everyone what democracy means. He believed in fairness, freedom, and hope. The story of Abraham Lincoln teaches us many lessons. First, it shows that anyone can rise from a humble beginning to do great things. Lincoln did not have money, good clothes, or a fancy education. But he had a big heart, a sharp mind, and a strong will. Second, it teaches us to never give up. Lincoln lost many elections before becoming president. He failed in business. He faced sorrow and death in his family. But he kept going. He worked hard and stayed hopeful. Third, it shows the power of doing what is right. Lincoln knew slavery was wrong. He took a stand, even when it was dangerous. He believed in freedom for all. Because of him, America became a stronger and fairer country. Finally, Lincoln's story reminds us that kindness and leadership can change the world. He led with calm, care, and respect. He did not seek revenge, even after the war. He believed in healing and unity. Abraham Lincoln's life was not easy, but it was full of purpose. He was a man who read by candlelight, walked miles to borrow books, and rose to lead a nation. He showed that with honesty, hard work, and compassion, one person can make a big difference. Even today, his words and actions guide leaders and inspire young people. His life is a light of hope for all who dream of a better world. Abraham Lincoln is not just a part of history, he is a hero whose spirit lives on in hearts around the world. And so ended the life of Abraham Lincoln. A poor boy who became a powerful voice for justice. A simple man who led a nation through its darkest hour. A leader who chose unity over hate, and kindness over revenge. His journey reminds us that greatness doesn't come from wealth or fame. It comes from truth, courage, and a heart full of hope. Even today, his words echo across time. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln may be gone, but his dream still lives on. If you were inspired by this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories in simple English. Because history is not just about the past. It's about learning, growing, and dreaming big, just like Lincoln did.